Hi everyone and welcome to the Timeless History channel with me, Derek aka Sal, the Omega Enthusiast. It's been a while since I've created one of these What's Wrong episodes, and I'm excited to test your knowledge again with today's episode of What's Wrong. Many of you have contacted me on Instagram asking if there's a book or online database to learn about vintage Omega watches. The truth is, there's no such resource out there. I'm the only one creating these YouTube videos, providing crucial and accurate details on vintage Omegas. So your support for this channel is not just important, it is essential. Hopefully one day I will get the opportunity to publish a book on vintage Omega watches. As in past episode, I will present a watch with one or several issues and give you time to figure out what they are. You can also pause the video if you require more time. The most important advice I can give is always to ask the seller to provide an inside photo of the watch. Knowing the case reference and movement details will allow you to do research before purchasing. Searching online for the case model reference will let you know what the case should look like, what movement it should carry, a rough estimate of the production year, and the many dial and hand variation it may come with. Of course, not everything you see in your online search will be correct, but at least 8 out of 10 examples will be accurate. For example, if you search online case reference 168.005, you'll find many examples of a Constellation watch with a date feature. Therefore, if you see one in your search without the date feature, ignore that piece to use for reference. If you are someone who does not care whether your watch comes with the correct case, movement, or hands, this video may not be for you. Without further ado, let's test your knowledge and begin this episode. Let's begin with an easy one. Watch number 1 is a 1950s Omega Constellation with case model reference GX6267. What is wrong with this piece? The main issue with this timepiece is that GX6267 is not a Constellation watch. There are 5 1950s Constellation references without a date feature, and this is not one of them. This reference is a regular automatic Omega from the Norman Morris US collection. There is no 1950s Constellation that comes with a gold-filled case. The movement is correct for a Constellation watch. However, this dial variation does not belong to a 16.4 million movement serial number Constellation. The hour and minute hands are not from a Constellation as well. In the channel's playlist, you can find video about the 5 Constellation references and 1 discusses US references. Watch number 2 is an Omega Constellation from the late 1950s to the early 1960s with case reference 14394. Can you spot the issue on this piece? The first issue is very obvious. The dial has been refinished. However, a dial refinish is a personal preference as it does not affect the watch authenticity. A redial only affects the watch collectible value and is harder to resell. The 2 major concerns about this piece are that the star below the word Constellation on the dial is missing, and that the set of hands has been replaced. Watch number 3 is a 1966 Omega Constellation pie pan under reference 168.005, also known as the Dogleg Lugs Constellation watch. Can you spot the issue on this piece? The first issue, of course, is the set of hands. The hour and minute hands are correct, but they belong to a different dial variation. Notice the letter T next to the Swiss made. That indicates the dial and hands should have luminous, but If you study both hands, they have black paint instead. The second hand is obviously too long, as it should not surpass the minute track on a pie pen dial. The last issue is the automatic bridge and weight are incorrect. The automatic bridge belongs to a non-chronometer watch, as it does not have the words adjusted 5 position and temperature. And this automatic weight version was not introduced until 1969, but this watch is from 1966. How are you doing so far? If you have everything correct, you should have no issue shopping around for a vintage Omega watch on your own. And I would assume that you have watched many of my videos. Anyways, on to watch number 4, a late 1950s Omega Constellation calendar under reference 2943. There are 3 concerning issues with this watch. Can you spot them? The first issue is the dial has been replaced. Without the words officially certified, this dial belongs to reference 14393. Secondly, the set of hands is non-genuine Omega. You know that by studying the tip of the hands. Thirdly, the case belongs to a 2852 non-date reference because of the smaller lugs. Watch number 5 is a 1946 Omega Seamaster under reference 2445. Can you spot the issues on this watch? Before 1948, Omega used the old caliber numbering system. Under this system, this watch movement caliber is 28.10 instead of 351. So what is the issue with this watch? Do you recall in 2018 when Omega reissued their first generation Heritage Seamaster watch from 1948? That's your answer right there. If the first Seamaster was introduced in 1948, how can this piece from 1946 be a Seamaster? That means the dial of this watch has been refinished. I'm okay with a redial, but against it when it is incorrectly done. Also, these syringe type hands belong to a dial with full Arabic luminous numeral out indexes. Watch number 6, 7, and 8, which will be straightforward. So let's start with number 6. Can you spot its issue? This is an Omega Constellation under reference 14393 with a rail track dial, which usually dates the watch from 1959 to 1961. The issue with this watch is the set of hour and minute hands should be shorter. The rule of thumbs for a vintage Omega watch is the minute hands must not surpass the minute track. Now, what about watch number 7? Can you spot its issue? This is a 1960s Omega Constellation watch under reference 167.005 with a regular dome dial. That means the minute and hour hand should be longer. This set of hands belong to the pie pen dial version. So I've saved the trickiest piece for last. Watch number 8 is a mid-1950s Omega Seamaster chronometer under reference 2766. Can you spot its issues? There's one major issue with this piece. You may need to pause this video to examine it thoroughly. Are you ready for the answer? If you can get this one right, you are a pro. My first impression of this watch is, wow, this is an outstanding example of a very rare Seamaster watch. Until ... I saw that small second hand, which is only used on their solid gold watches. This tells me that this watch is most likely originally a solid gold piece. and the case was probably melted down years ago, and now in a steel donor case. If you see a watch like this, do not directly ask the seller if he replaced the second hand, as he may tell you a lie. Instead, ask where he obtained this watch and if it came this way when he bought it. If the answer is yes, then you are taking a 50-50 chance that this watch may be a mirror piece or the second hand has been replaced with the wrong version. So, how did you do? How many pieces did you get correct? If you enjoyed this type of video, please share it with your watch buddies and smash that thumbs up like button. What you have learned from this video can also be applied to other brand name watches. You can always support my work on Patreon. That's the end of this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the following video.